My name is John Kenyon. I'm the Executive Director of the Iowa City UNESCO City of Literature, and this year was Director of the Book Festival. The Book Festival was started in 2009 by the University of Iowa Main Library. They did that as kind of a thank you to the community after the 2008 floods. If you'll recall, people in the community kind of set up a fireman's relay to take the books out of the basement of the library. And so it was their way of thanking the community for that help. A year earlier, it was also in recognition of the acquisition of their 5 millionth volume at the library. So they had a couple of things to celebrate and to note, and so they started this book festival, and it was, a modest endeavor, but it continued to grow over the next couple of years. This was the 5th year of the festival. It was the first year that the City of Literature organization had actually presented it. Book Festival, in my mind, is about connecting readers and writers. I mean, that at its core is what it's about, and most of the programming had to do with that. It's introducing people to new writers, it's allowing them to hear from writers that they have read. And so we wanted to present readers in this town the opportunity to have that kind of interaction with writers. And I think that having that interaction with writers, it will enhance your reading experience moving forward. I mean, just knowing how authors work and talking with one or hearing one read, I think can inform the other things you read, regardless of whether that author had anything to do with those subsequent books you read. The other thing is just trying to bring readers together. There were many instances where we would see people who didn't know each other when they got to the festival connect. They'd meet each other at one of the events, and they would be talking about this common book that they had read, and enhancing people's individual networks as readers, I think, is very important as well. And lastly, just giving writers, celebrating their work and then giving them a wider audience. There are a lot of amazingly talented people in this town and in this area, people who've come through the Writers' Workshop. And it's important to get that work out in front of people. And so we estimate that we had probably 3,000 or 4,000 people participate in events throughout the course of the weekend. And that's a lot of potentially new readers for a lot of these writers. We had a 4-day festival this year. Our first event was on Thursday night. It was called An Evening with the Lacks Family, the story behind the immortal life of Henrietta Lacks. It's just a fascinating story, and so we brought in these 2 members of Henrietta's family to talk about their experience. We had about 550 folks at the Sheraton Ballroom, so that was the way we kicked off the festival. On Friday we had an event called Writing in the City of Literature, and that was at the Englert Theater, and the goal behind that was really to allow people in the community to learn more about what writers think about our town when they come here. What is it about Iowa City that makes it such a fertile ground for writing? On Saturday we had a mix of panel discussions, readings. We showed a couple of films in conjunction with the new film scene operation downtown. We had our downtown book fair on the pedestrian mall. Just a lot of different events throughout the course of the day. And then on Sunday we had what's called the Day in the City of Literature. We had about 25 different venues all across Iowa City and out into Coralville, and mostly businesses, a few different organizations at their establishments. All over town we had things going on, and so there were close to 30 events going on throughout the course of the day. We had more than 70 events throughout the course of the weekend, and a lot of happy readers by the time we were done. In terms of the City of Literature, I hope that they see these assets that make us a city of literature. I mean, we're one of only 6 UNESCO designated cities in the world, and so we really saw the festival and kind of build as a celebration of literature in the City of Literature. We really wanted people to come away and say, oh, that's why Iowa City is a city of literature, to make it feel really tangibly like that. So we took great pains to make this special beyond that. We have a community that could almost get jaded about literary endeavors because there's so much amazing stuff here. And so we really wanted to kind of really pack the weekend with a lot of things and give people a lot of opportunity to experience things. On a more personal level for each individual person, I hope they went home with a new favorite author or a new book that they're really looking forward to read, and just an engagement with literature that maybe they didn't have before the weekend started. And this was definitely a gigantic collaborative effort. It was very much a sense of the community coming together. We oversaw it, we were the umbrella, but our goal, which I think we achieved to a certain extent, was to make it a showcase for anybody that has anything to do with literature. And so just make sure that that credit is distributed as it should be. We have our One Book, Two Book Children's Literature Festival in January, And there's a component of that where we celebrate the writing of young students. And our stated goal is to really celebrate that writing and that endeavor, that achievement. And so to me, that's an important driver behind having this festival. I think it's just the literary culture, you know, those types of things that we have every day. I mean, obviously people, if they think for a moment about why Iowa City is a city of literature, they can point to the Iowa Writers Workshop and the International Writing Program, or the myriad programs that the University of Iowa has in terms of writing. They can look at Prairie Lights as a fantastic, you know, one of the best independent bookstores in the country, as one of many great bookstores we have in this town, the Iowa City Public Library, that's the busiest library building in the state. And so you can look at all of these different things and say, well, yeah, of course we're a city of literature, but with events like this, it's, again, getting at trying to capture that kind of literary culture that seeps out beyond those institutions. It's not just the workshop, it's the fact that every place you turn around, every coffee shop, you see, you know, a flipped open laptop and somebody's doing work. When I look around and I see, you know, anybody, I was thinking to people of a certain age, but really anybody, and I see their laptop flipped open, I don't necessarily think they're doing work or answering email. My thought is that they're probably working on something that I might read printed between hardbound covers someday. And it's that kind of culture of literature in Iowa City that I hope people can eventually experience. And it's not just about the workshop, though that's great, and it's not just about even the book festival, which is a thing we try to get a lot of people in, but it's that wider literary culture that I think ultimately is why we deserve to have this designation.
You're watching City Channel 4. On TV, online, on demand, on Facebook, and now on the go on your mobile device.